What's up? This is Greg from Gag Order, kicking it here with QuESt. Just threw down a set in Boston, Paradise Rock. Logic's on now, sold out show.
Yes.
And this is near the end of the tour, right?
Yes, we are. We're nearing the end of the tour. We got about another week, a week exactly, a little less than a week, maybe like 6 or 5 days.
Not bad. And how'd Boston take to your sound?
Boston was great, man. Boston had like a really great reception. I already knew that people were telling me automatically like, yo, Boston is a great city and they're gonna give you a lot of great reception. And they were beautiful, man. You know, we came off of Chicago and Boston was just as hype. You know, man, and I'm in love with it, man. I loved it. I enjoyed being here.
And what's the crazy that's gone down on tour?
The craziest that's ever happened on tour so far was me getting in 2 car accidents in one day. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
That
man.
sucks.
Yeah, it happened in the RV. We got into like a mini accident, but it wasn't anything crazy. And what ended up happening was we were there. Then it wasn't that serious. But then we were in LA and we were supposed to get up and leave and go to another area. And I ended up getting in a cab, and that cab ended up getting in a car accident. And
Same day.
And it was just like, what the yeah.
How do you even deal with that? That's just like a bad day.
You just kind of, what's funny is like I in my mind I got in the cab and I was like, yo, put on your seatbelt just in case anything happens.
Yeah.
Head-on collision. So I walked out. I was cool, man. But there was 2 other members that of the crew. I'm not gonna put them out there or anything. They got roughed up pretty badly, and they're cool now. They're great. But yeah, that was probably the craziest thing that's happened on tour so far.
And how is life in the RV? Like, how is it?
It's good, man. I mean, everybody's really respectable. Everybody's real cool, man. At times it can get cramped because when you put 8 or 9 people in one bus, it's bound to get cramped from time to time. But everybody's pretty respectable, man. And it definitely beats traveling in a car, from city to city, man. You can lay out. Plus, you got beds and I got TV. It's a good situation, and I love it, man.
Yeah, for real. I mean, it just doesn't seem very fun cooped up with like 9 dudes for like 2 months and stuff. But I mean, it's cool. Like you kind of like build friendships that way. You get to know people a lot closer than you probably want to. But
I mean, it's cool, man. I mean, the way I see it is like this is my first tour, right?
Yeah.
But then you hear stories like Wale and Big Sean, and back when like in 08, 07. They were like driving in Honda Civics behind, their main headlining acts, trying to get from show to show.
Yeah.
Sleeping in their cars, barely being able to get a shower here and there. So for me to be able to take a shower and to also be able to be in a tour bus and move forward for my first tour, it's incredible, man. Like, I'm blessed. Like, a lot of people don't get that type of opportunity.
Definitely,
so
for real.
I don't take it for granted. So even if it has its bad, days,
still grateful. Yeah, that's a good outlook. And being your first tour, was there any point in time in your life where you're like, maybe music's not for me, or when was that deciding point where like, this is what I want to do, this is where I want to go in life?
Music was always, I always knew I wanted to do music since I was 7. Like, I just knew it.
Yeah.
But I think, as being an artist or anything, it doesn't matter what you are. If you're a hip hop artist, you're a singer, you're gonna quit at least 10 times. I've quit 5 to 10 times in my career, trying to get to a certain pedestal or to a certain break in my career. And it's funny because like I say, like 2 months before the tour even started, I was gonna get kicked out of my crib, and I say it on stage, and I've been kicked out of my house numerous times. Or just been in positions where I haven't had a stable living. So it's funny how that happened, and everything is fine now. But like a month later, I ended up getting a call from Visionary telling me that they wanted me to come on a tour, and that just goes to show that you really can't stop doing what you got to do, regardless. Even when you feel like you want to quit, because it's hard to be positive every single day. There's gonna be days where you're just gonna be like, yo, I'm tired of this. I'm broke. I'm hungry. I'm gonna get a job, and I hate rap, but you just got to keep on moving, man, and keep going, and that's how I see it. So even when I feel like, I just keep going, and especially I'm like, what else am I gonna do? Like, I love music so much, I can't see myself doing anything else.
I mean, have you ever done anything else? Like how have you survived when music hasn't been that great?
I mean, of course I work, here and there. I mean, you have to work. You gotta have a stable job, Or I always knew that I'm gonna just rap and I'm gonna do music and I'm gonna also work. I'm gonna keep those in, keep it going, and doing what I gotta do. But I mean, 3.8 in my high school. I mean, like I dropped out and ended up going to a different program, and then I graduated with like a 3.8. So it's not like I can't do anything else, but at the same time, it's like why would I want to do anything else?
Yeah,
and the way things are going now with the economy and you know how people are feeling. Like I have so many friends that have gone to college. Not saying that you shouldn't go to college, but I have so many people who've gone to college for like 4 years, gotten their bachelor's, and then gone back to get their master's to get more money, and then figure out that that wasn't what they wanted to do, so they go back to school. And I'm like, yo, you're spending thousands and thousands of dollars on trying to figure out what you're trying to do. And I'm like, I'd rather just be broke and do music, you know, than to be frustrated and have loans and not know what the hell I'm going for. And that's not to say to not go to college or anything. It's just being real, you know. That's at least my life.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that's just like a point in life that like life's a lot more than just like making money. It's about making something that you can now influence on other people and like building something. Or and so I guess like what would be like your perfect outcome for like your music to affect a fan? Like, you know what I mean? Like even that kid who just came out the bathroom, he was like, man, I'm gonna download your music as soon as I get home. Like, you know, like. Is that like, does that keep you going? Like, does that definitely plays in, right?
Of course, man. I just want people. I mean, of course, that always like it helps me to keep moving forward. That people can gravitate towards it, especially me being a new artist. But I want people to be inspired. You know, I think that's my main key is that inspiration. You know, just leads to the doorway to doing whatever you need to do. You know, when I'm inspired, I feel invincible. When anybody's inspired, you can't tell them anything. And that's what I try to do and convey through my music. Since I have a voice and since people will listen to me, you know, I owe it to them to give them something that they can use. You know, give them something that they can take out into the real world. Where it doesn't have to be about music, you know, and it doesn't have to be necessarily about even just dreams. You know, like my whole NEATO slogan is, NEATO, never ever allow the obscene. Like that's something to use through good times and bad times. You know, when you feel like you can't do anything, sometimes you need something to remind yourself to keep going, you know, because people will get there and then stop.
Yeah, and I think that's what people use music a lot for, is like, put on your favorite song, you feel good about yourself, put on that song with that lyric that you like a lot, that's really gonna like turn around your day or whatever.
Exactly.
And I think that's what I use music for, like when I have a bad day or whatever. But like you're talking about like being inspired and being motivated and stuff, and you're saying like this tour is a big thing for you as far as motivation to get back home, keep working and stuff. So what's next? Like,
well, after this project, after this, basically like this whole tour and what's going on right now, I know that after this tour I'm going to go back home and I'm going to be working on my next project heavily, like really, really heavily. Heavily? Like I'm going to be heavily. Like, like I'm going to be going like ham with it. I'm just going to work on this next project, capitalize off the momentum of the tour, and then I have a lot of other announcements and things that are in like the pocket that are going to kind of change the spectrum of how my music is being heard, because I mean, you gotta understand, like I've been doing music my whole life. I've been putting out music since 2008. Yeah. My next project will be my 10th project, my 10th official project in terms of mixtape. Yeah. And I'm just really excited for everything that's to come. I have a new project that's coming, hopefully more touring and more shows. Just capitalizing off of the momentum of this tour, because there's a whole nother fan base that's been developed after being on the road. Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm not taking that for granted.
Yeah, definitely really good exposure. And
incredible.
Is the next project going to have that same kind of like dubstep, electro, EDM kind of vibe, or is it going to?
The next project, like Fear Not Failure, what I wanted to do with Fear Not Failure was ultimately experiment and go into a market, and also because for Fear Not Failure, that's like where my mind was, and that's where my emotions were musically. Yeah. So with this next project, it's about defining a sound for me to go with off of. You know what I mean? Like I was doing a lot of experimentation with Fear Not Failure, and I love that project because I took boundaries and leaps that.
Oh yeah, it was so cool.
Thank you so much. I felt like I took boundaries that I necessarily wouldn't take, especially comparing it to my previous project. Yeah. And with this project, I just want to define my sound. I'm still gonna use a lot of the sounds from FNF, but it's gonna be way more hip hop. I can say that much. Yeah. It's gonna be way more hip hop. Still a lot of influences with the sounds and electronics, and a dark sound that you're used to with QuESt, but just way more darker. Definitely. And way more hip hop.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. And you know, Juneteenth just happened with the 3 albums. Yes. What's your take on it? Like, who do you think won that?
Oh man, I actually didn't get a chance to listen to Mac Miller's project. Ooh. I heard it was incredible.
Wicked good. Wicked good.
I love the progression that he's made. But I didn't get to listen to Wale's project either. I didn't have a chance to. but I did get Yeezus, and I did get Born Sinner.
Yeah.
And I love Yeezus and I love Born Sinner, almost damn near the same, just for different reasons.
Yeah.
I love Born Sinner's honesty, just because you can't, and I'm very big on honesty.
Oh yeah,
you know, just that's my slogan. John Q, speak from the heart, part of honesty.
Yeah.
And you would tell he just kind of bared his soul. You know,
absolutely,
like he said everything that with no filter, you know.
Yeah.
But I loved Yeezus just because of how he pushed the culture, and you know, a lot of people consider it a bit more experimental and all over the place. But I just love sonically him pushing the envelope and not being afraid to, you know, try to do something that was new or try to do something that wasn't necessarily accepted off the bat. And him being at the status that he's at, I feel he's old to be able to, he's paid
do whatever he wants.
If he wants to do reggae music and turn himself to Snoop Lion, he can do what he wants.
It's almost like Yeezus, I guess, is kind of like Fear Not Failure, where he tried something new to find out who he was sonically and push boundaries to try, you know what I mean, to better himself as an artist.
I think with Yeezus though, like for me, Fear Not Failure was about that, exactly what you said. Because, you know, everything that I've done until my next project has been experimentation. Like Fear Not Failure, The Reason, How Thoughtful, they're all different, you know, on Broken Headphones, and anything before that, they're different. There's different sounds, it's progression. It's me finding myself in different ways and trying to perfect myself to be the best MC that I can be up until now, you know. But with Yeezus, you know, Kanye has been known to just do what he does and evolve, you know. Like College Dropout and college, like basically like late registration is an evolved form of College Dropout. Same thing with Graduation and late registration. The same thing with 808s, even though it's more experimental.
The 808s and Beautiful and Twisted Fantasy, it's like their own kind of little thing.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Definitely.
This is the first time where I think Kanye's just like, okay, I'm just gonna do. And I don't care how you feel, you know, he didn't put out a single, he has no artwork. He just dropped an album and did whatever he wanted to do. And I think that's him just expressing, like, you don't need to have a single, you know, let's do something different, let's switch it up, there's no rules, you know, let's progress hip-hop. However you feel about the music is opinionated, because music is music. But just how it furthers the culture, in my opinion, is like, if you could sell 500,000 copies your first week with no single and no artwork. Hip hop. Yeah,
that's actually a good point, because I hated Yeezus. When I heard it, I hated it. But I mean, you know, that's a good point. It does push the culture where, like, we're used to, like, all right, do an album with some deep stuff and then one radio hit, two radio hits, and one club banger, and a cool artwork. You can make a poster and put on shirts and stuff. But it's really cool to be like, blank CD, don't care. No single, don't care.
It's good to see something different. You know, I mean, how you feel about the music? I mean, it's either, you know, you like it or you don't. You know, so I know some people that love Born Sinner, some people who hate it. But I just respect how, you know, it pushes the culture. You know, like I'm always about the culture and how we're pushing it and doing something new. You know, breaking out of the status quo.
And so you said you got into music at like 7, 8, somewhere down there, really young.
I would say 7, 8.
And did you have any, like, artists like you looked up to? Like, what were your influences growing up? Like, who were you like, I wanna do something like him?
Oh man, I mean, when you're like really young and you're like 11, I was like 11 and 10 and 9, and I was looking up to like a lot of the poppin' artists at that time. So like, you know, like Lil Bow Wow and Ja Rule, and they were like the most hottest artists, and I would want to be just like them. And once I started, you know, wanting to be an MC and say something meaningful and deeper, it was because of Nas. And I heard Nas for the first time, like, I guess in terms of really listening to him when I was like 11, and I just zoned in. I was like this 11-year-old, 12-year-old kid walking around in middle school listening to It Was Written. And people like, oh, what are you listening to? And, you know, at that time the South was really popping. But I was just so into Nas, and then later on I started getting into like super lyrical MCs like Cannabis and Pharoah Monch and a lot of Mos Def and a lot of Big Pun, just, you know, the agility, the spiritual lyrical individuals. You know, like I was in Eminem, and then I started getting into Jay-Z, and, you know, and then I really tapped into like Lupe Fiasco. Like I started really loving. And he was the first MC where I felt like, man, I could really be myself. You know, because up to then, you know, everybody had this rough, rugged approach.
Lupe was just like, I'm good with that.
And he was
I'm gonna ride my skateboard. Like.
Exactly, and he was still so good lyrically. Like, lyrically, he was just incredible. And he was the first MC that I was like, man, I could really be myself. You know?
For real. And like, I guess stepping like back a little bit, is there anyone that you could see you could possibly work with on your next, like, you know, projects? Like, who would you look up? Who would you look for to like work with?
Word. On my next project, man. I mean, in terms of who's in reach right now, I would love to work with Absol.
Yeah.
I love Absol. Absol is probably like my favorite at least rapper that's current around now.
Yeah, definitely.
Like he's like my favorite rapper as of right now. I love Chance. I love what Chance is doing. I love what Kendrick is doing, of course.
Yeah.
I really love, who else is out there? I mean, I would say in terms of rapping wise, those are like the three major guys.
Yeah, definitely. As far as I could like work with like your sound and stuff, like
yeah,
I could easily see that being like a good mix as far as that goes.
But definitely Absol the most, I would say. Just, I just really dig him, and I think like he's probably the nicest, or at least one of the nicest out right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I love his material.
And you know, Logic being an XXL freshman, obviously a really big milestone in his career.
Absolutely.
And what knowledge has he like helped you gain through this whole tour? Like, has he helped out little tips and stuff?
Well, with Logic, man, like I think one thing that's great about me and Logic is like Logic will tell me a few things here and there, but more than that, like he knows I kind of know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So more than anything, I kind of perceive him like things that I just pick up off of myself, you know,
yeah.
Which is just interacting with fans, caring for your fans, just knowing when to have a good time and then when to be steady. But the main thing I've gotten from Logic, honestly, is just to take care of the fans.
Yeah.
Like, I see what he does and how much he cares about his fans. And it's not that I didn't care about my fans either, but I could see how much he drives and how much he invests in
He really gets into the fans.
Exactly. And that's something that I picked up immediately, and I was like, yo, I need to do this. I need to be invested into these fans because
definitely.
At the end of the day, they support what I do. And if without them, I'm just a rapper and I'm just spitting words to the wall.
Yeah.
So that's probably the major thing that I've picked up from him, if anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when can we expect some new stuff from him?
Soon. Very soon. You can actually expect a lot of things. Probably within the next, after tour, within the next month or so.
Very cool.
Yeah, a lot of good announcements. A lot of good music. Definitely a project at least before the year is out or the top of next year.
Cool. Very cool. Very cool.
No later, I promise you.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And any closing words to Boston, to the tour, to anyone?
Oh man, well, first and foremost, thank you for having me and allowing me to be able to express myself through interview form. Boston was an incredible experience, man. One of the most incredible cities I've ever been to, and I don't think I'll ever forget this experience here. And just peace and love to all the people who support me, all the music they supported, all the new fans that I've gained on tour, all the day one fans who've been with me ever since. And just make sure you keep it NEATO, never ever allow the obscene, and you can do whatever it is that you want to do in your life,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's QuESt. Signing out from Geaux. Hope to see him back here in Boston soon. Keep a lookout for his new project.
Bieber.